in 1968, that's when basically I was 10 years old, and my grandpa, let's see, yeah, well, let's just kind of get into it. We have a saying here in North Carolina, goodness grows in North Carolina, so we're kind of proud of that, ain't we, Nathan? And, but in about 1968, we started no-tilling with a drill like this. I was 10 years old, and I was involved with the farm, but my granddaddy, I'm the 5th generation on the farm, but my granddaddy grew a lot of clover, Lespedeza and red top. And along in the late 40s, early 50s, there's a lot of land being cleared to farm. Well, Grandpa would take this, it was a John Deere grassland drill, and he'd go in and sow clover on newly cleared land. And then the next spring, they would plow it under to build the land up. So we had that thing there, and Daddy and Grandpa got to talking about no-tilling some soybeans. So took the drill to the back side of a field where nobody could see it, just to get started. So if we made a mess, we drilled 4 or 5 acres of soybeans, and there's no chemical at that time that we could keep it clean. So kind of roughed it through the weeds and all, and see real quick that was the way to do soybeans, because or anything else. But anyway, graduated to a 4-row and run that several years, and of course then we went to a 6-row, and now we got a 12-row 30-inch planter, and I've done a lot of work on that planter to get it to where, and we also plant with a Kinsey 15-inch. And at that, in 2014, that was the crops that I had. I had wheat, corn, popcorn, soybeans, cotton, and we also grew some cover crop seed, triticale and rye. I've got away from popcorn, but I am gonna have a little bit this year. And on the corn, I grow white corn for a company for cornmeal and grits, which is a food product. So I got to be kind of real careful with that and not get contamination in one thing and another. And then the popcorn, like I say, same thing, food product. And then on soybeans, I grow seed beans for the Pioneer Company. And everything I do, I try to find a niche market or something that's paying a premium. Like I say, we'll grow a little wheat. That's a picture of 15-inch corn. We've kind of got away from that. The yield's not that much better. We found that the quality of the seed's not quite as good because there's not as, you don't get no wind flow through it. And so I like growing 15-inch corn because it comes up and shades that ground real quick. But, and then the popcorn and soybeans. Well, if we could all have a plant like that one right there that's got all them beans on it, we'd be tickle pink every year. Cotton, that's a picture of some of the cotton there. And I don't know if y'all know much about cotton, but you see that purple bloom there and the white blooms. The white bloom will come out today, and if it is pollinated, it'll turn red like that one tomorrow. So that's a little knowledge on it. And here's pictures, the crimson clover we grew one year. Growing it wasn't a problem. Harvesting it was a little problem. There's the shoulder around the seed, or the shaft around the seed, is hard to get off, and therefore the guy doing the seed cleaning couldn't clean it as well. If he had another way to run it through a machine and thrash that little I call it a sack around the seed. I don't know what you want to call it, but he could probably got a lot more seeds, but it was profitable. I mean, it was profitable for me to grow my own seed. And of course, you know, crimson clover's pretty anyway. And then the rye, we grew a few acres of rye. And, you know, one of the reasons is for cover crops is erosion control and water filtration and soil health and building nutrients. This was in a neighbor's field. I slipped over there one day and took some pictures because he never tries to do anything to slow this down. But I will say now that he's caught on what we all else in the other farmers and all in the community's doing it. He's changed his ways. This is just another picture of it. Here's a field that I've got that we got it level and sowed a real thick cover crop, and we can just still plant right straight across it. But every year we go in there and drill a real heavy cover crop, maybe double drill it, just to have plenty of filth and whatever down the main part of that ditch. That's just another picture. You see how steep these hills are? Well, there's no erosion there because it was had a good cover crop. And of course, we like to seed earthworms, and they're beginning to where you no-till year after year, and if you've got the soil biology right, earthworms, as they say, you build it, they'll come. And of course, we were using a 5-way mix, like I was talking about a while ago: rye, crimson, Australian winter peas, and vetch and tillage radishes. Got a bright idea, I wanted to grow some winter peas for seed. So went over there and they were probably about 90% ready to cut with the combine, but they still, it runs like a morning glory. Those plants were still green. And I thought, well, I'll see what the combine do. And I dropped the header down, and when the reel grabbed it, it pulled it from 50 to 100 feet. Before I knew it, I had the reel and everything wrapped. So I know what you went through, Chester. But so I went home, got the sprayer, sprayed it with Gamoxone. 3 days later, went back and cut them fine. And they yielded okay, but I decided I'd go ahead and buy them, let somebody else grow them. But this is just a picture of the rye, and the radishes. I got some pictures in later. I'll show you some of them. But this is what we mixed it with. We just dumped it in the back of the mixer there, where you pour your minerals and all in, and mixed it. And this is some of the, like I say, we've used wheat, oats, barley, rye, and triticale. In my situation, I like triticale because it's thick. It gets on, you got a real good cover in a mat there real quick. This is one of the ways we put it out. I had two 6500 sprayers. So we took the boom off one, and I made a bracket to put a pendulum spreader on the back and ran it off of the tobacco topper, hydraulics, on the back of the machine. Just another view of it. You see right here where it plugged in. They on those particular sprayers, they had a where you could use plug a hydraulic system in. This is another way we use a no-till drill also, and preferably that's probably one of the best ways. And like I say, you can find about anybody to run the drill for you. This was another way we tried. We put this sprayer on the back of a tractor, and it only throws 30 feet. So we got a Phillips rotary hair, and right after we bush hogged the corn stalks to knock them down because they won't fall down. And then we spread that, and it fell right in front of the Phillips hair teeth, and that was a good way to put it in. And it didn't stir the land but about maybe a 3/4 to an inch, and we could get a good stand that way. Like I say, we've tried everywhere in the world, but this was just a picture of some of the cover crops germinating through the cotton stubbles. Radishes are the bigger plants here, and then crimson clover and radishes are coming up. And then there's a picture a few weeks later. The vetch right here, and the crimson, and then the rye and all. And as we go along, if there's any questions, don't hate to ask me. But this was the radishes. Actually, one year I had let the stuff get too big on me, and it was actually going to seed when we rolled it down. And that fall, when I picked corn, the radishes was already 5 or 6 inches long. And I thought, wow, what a mess. But then I got to looking later, pull one up, it had an 8-inch hole in it where it had run the roots down, and that's one of the better ways to aerate soil. And then when we got ready to roll it down, I had a 4630 there with saddle tanks, and I had a 30-foot cultipacker that we wasn't using on the farm, so we rolled it, and with it, and also put spray boom on the back of it, as you see here. And as we were rolling it down, we sprayed it. It was in real 20 inches of the product, the rye and all, which I had good pressure to blow it down through. And it's another picture of it there, a spray bar with it mashed down flat. And in 3 or 4 days, that's what it looked like. It was dead as a doornail and ready to plant. And so we got worried how we was gonna, get through all that. So I put longer parallel arms on the planter here and put my road cleaner behind the coulter. And so that meant I was cutting it before the road cleaner got a hold of it. Started out though with a 6-row planter, and I just bought the setbacks and put on it, and tried it, and it worked there too. And unit mounted coulters, unit mounted road cleaners, but frame mounted coulters. That means with the frame mounted coulters, I can, the planter's got fertilizer tank on it, so if I keep it 2/3 or pretty full, it'll cut through about anything. You see what it looks like there. And Nathan was talking about trying to roll the same direction that you're going, but the way I got the planter set up, it'll cut through going crossways with it because of the cutting it and then cleaning it. One year I rolled some down, and it was a year that it got away from us, and I measured it was 12 inches after it was rolled, 12 inches of stuff on the ground. I don't know, but it cut through it. I let it get good and dry and waited until the dew was off and got out there, and it cut through it. And on the Kenzies, that's a little bit different story. It's not got front coulters. I had to use, like you see here, the frame mounted coulter, the unit mounted coulter with the unit mounted road cleaners. And it didn't do quite as good a job as you see there than the John Deere did with the cleaners out front. But we found out in the fields that we're gonna do that with, we'll cut, especially put soybeans in, we'll cut the rates back on everything, so we won't have as much to cut through. Talking about putting fertilizer and all out, we do that in Furr. We put our carbon and molasses, or Sweet Success, it's type of molasses, in Furr with micronutrients and a product that kind of boosts the root system and all that. So we put that in with this little tube there. And then also on the John Deere planter, we got 2x2 colders on it for fertilizer, and we put our nitrogen 2x2. And on this one, as you see, we got tubes running out the back on each side of the row. And so we've had good luck with that. This is a picture of me if you can see me. I was planting in standing rye. You see the tractor with the buggy top, International. Nathan's talking about you. You don't want to do that with allergies. Come home and you'd be this yellow. But that was in the 80s. That's how long we've been using cover crops. We didn't think about rolling it down then, but we had, it worked then. And this is just some cotton, pictures of the cotton. This was a year that I liked about 20 pounds of average and 3 bales to the acre. That was a real good year for cotton. And as you see, the rows was running this way, but you can't tell where they at. There's cotton so full, you can see a little better there. But I got out the machine for some reason, a quarter. I was laid that quarter down. I told the boy that's my money balls there. But then, like I say, it was time to pick it, and that was several years before the round balers come out. And then it was time to pick corn. One thing I have noticed about no-tilling and putting biologicals in Furr is my test weights on corn. Have you noticed it on yours? I carried a load of white corn the other week. It weighed 62 pounds in a bushel. More than my soybeans are. I don't know. In some way, if we could figure out what's going on with beans, but we lost test weight when all the Roundup Readies and all that came. That's my thinking. I don't know. I'd say it's harvest time, and that's the best time. And after we get through with the all the crops, we'll have our soil sampling done. Boy from growers here, raise your hand. You need soil samples done. That's the group that does mine. They do a good job. That's it. I kind of flew through these because I knew we was running a little short on time. But I'm more of a hands-on. I like working with the equipment. I'm not much on the, figuring out what's what on that side of things, but, charts and all. But, has anybody got any questions?
Curtis, I got a comment. I remember years ago, one of these soil health things Nathan did, when I was asking about them road cleaners, residue hanging up.
Yeah.
Curtis said him and his son scratched their head, and one of the guys helped him, he said, why don't you just take the road cleaner and turn them another way, so they're not as aggressive. And he said, all that residue, it grabs bad. And I've used that for about 10 years, telling the folks down my way, Harnett County, every time I said, you got to think a little innovative. And some of them have done it, and they said they haven't changed it since. Because they were, you get in those times where the residue would grab, if there's teeth on that road cleaner or hooking it.
Right. Another thing about them, there's a right way to put them on and a wrong way. You see how these are beveled a little bit on the ends? Mm-hmm. That's the way you want to put them on. If you turn them the other way, you won't go far till you be like Chester and be down on the ground and dig it out.
Yeah.
Cause they grab and pull. I don't think I got a picture of that. There's a shark back, sway back, shark tooth. I don't like them, cause they seem like, they won't push it out of the way like these straight ones will. Right there. Those right there will they just peel it out and lay it, not real wide, but they'll lay it open where the gate, you know, you get your colder seat openers in there. And another thing about, somebody brought it up about keep sharp colders on and sharp seat openers. Like right there, if you didn't have sharp teeth on or blades on it, you wouldn't have cut that. But does anybody got any more other questions?
Curtis, how are you seeding most of your cover crops now? You said you like to drill it if you can, but are you doing different things depending on what you're following and how much time you have?
If it's cotton land, we'll most of the time go in and spread it because it's getting late, and spread it with a spreader or drone. Got some neighbor boys that's got 2 drones, and they've got bulk tanks or feeders on them, and they'll spread it for us that way too.
Gotcha.
Now I've got a turbo till, and we've got some land that over the years has got roughed up because of wet harvest, and I went in and just knocked the top off, and then go in with a spreader truck and spread a cover crop, and then take a coal packer and run back, just to confirm, mash that seed down, firm it to the ground, and that's worked good. But, basically spreader truck and the spreader, and sometimes drill it. This year I didn't do much because we've got such an issue with Italian ryegrass. We're trying to spray it ahead. I've got some land I've already sprayed, trying to kill that ryegrass. And if, you know, you put a cover crop out there that early, you're gonna kill it spraying it. But if you hadn't got that, and that stuff's coming with a vengeance. Gramoxone won't kill it, Roundup won't kill it. We're trying several different things. MSMA, we tried that. That was an old cotton chemical that was used to help control grasses. And actually it's a real heavy, it's got arsenic in it. It's a heavy surfactant. And so we're using that, and it had some good luck with it. But we noticed yesterday, I had a dealer buying, wanted to look at it. There's the second flush of ryegrass is coming up now, so. Yeah, Italian ryegrass is a problem. I think I'd rather have the pigweeds as the Italian ryegrass. Okay. Anything?
Curtis, you mentioned you spread some of your cover crop into standing beans or cotton. Are you doing that in corn too? Like with the drone you mentioned, are you spreading the seed over top of the corn?
We were going to this fall, but then I decided just to hold off and kill the ryegrass. But yeah, that's a thought. And then on my soybeans, I'm set up a 90-foot boom on the sprayer, and I leave trim lines. So I was trying to find somebody, you know, some of the fertilizer dealers have spreaders that'll spread 90 feet, but sometimes it's kind of hard to spread a clover seed 90 feet. But we're going to try that. And like Nathan said, we're always trying something new. But the trim lines has worked real well because we go back in and spray fungicide. I actually sprayed my beans this year twice with a fungicide because Pioneer wants a good seed. And they just, it was a year that all the rain that we had, we needed plenty of fungicide on it. And we also sprayed it with several different biologicals and Sweet Success, which is a sugar product, and zinc, and just several micronutrients we put over the top of things. Always looking for something better to make. Like I told a fella yesterday, you know, farmers out here trying to grab all the land that they can find and farm. That's not the way to look at things. Quantity is what is okay, but quality is what you want. You want a good quality product on less acres, and you can make just as much money as you can with quantity. So we've actually give up a couple hundred acres just to give us more time to do a better job with the land that we do have, the good land that we got. Well, I'll be around if anybody's got any questions. I appreciate the attention.
Thank you.